All right. Thank you again to our presenters for their informative presentations and insights. We will now begin our question and answer panel. If you haven't had a chance to enter your question into the Q&A chat pod, please do so now, and we'll answer as many questions as time allows. So we'll start with a first question that came in for Giselle Blanco. Are there guidance documents that address pediatric product candidates?
Thanks, Nora. So yes, there are definitely guidance documents for medical devices for pediatric use. I suggest that you start searching the guidance document database and use the keyword pediatric, and make sure you select the organization as CDRH to help you narrow down your results. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that response. We have another question for you as well. Where can I find information on the exact list of documents needed for a pre-submission meeting with FDA for 510(k) approval of a tumor segmentation software?
Okay. So you could download the Q submission guidance document for a list of information or documents required for that pre-submission meeting regarding your tumor segmentation software. So you can actually access the guidance document through my presentation slide. It is linked there, or you can simply type in your browser FDA Q-submission. And when you are looking at your search results, make sure it's from an FDA website, and make sure that you click on the one that's a final guidance document. The draft guidances are not yet in effect. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that response as well. We have another question addressed to you, Giselle. Could you please comment on the processes for approval for combined devices, e.g. a cardiac drug-eluting device?
Okay, so yeah, it sounds like they're asking about a combination product, which are therapeutic and diagnostic products that combine drugs, devices, and or biological products. So a combination product is assigned to one center within the FDA that will have primary jurisdiction for its pre-market review and regulation. So assignment of a product to a center with the primary jurisdiction, or also called the lead center, is based on the determination of the primary mode of action, PMOA, of the combination product. And so what happens is the Office of Combination Products, OCP, will assist you in determining which center will take the lead on the regulation of that combination product, okay? So you may refer to they have a guidance called Pre-Request for Designation, and I suggest you look up that guidance on how you can get the OCP office to help you with your determination. And they also have an FAQ webpage. So I suggest you check out their webpage as well. That is the Office of Combination Products. Thank you. Great question.
And thank you so much for that information. And now we'll address a question for Dr. Jessica Mavadia-Shukla. Is there a reference list of all the qualified MDDTs?
Hi, thank you, Nora. So yes, we would consider this reference list of all qualified MDDTs, the same as were shown in my presentation, to be on the MDDT webpage. So if you go to the webpage and scroll down, you'll find a table and you can sort by date of qualification or even type. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much for that response as well. Another question for you. When an application is made for MDDT qualification, is there a need to reference a predicate?
Thanks, Nora. So, this is a really great question. When we do have submissions for MDDTs, all MDDTs are expected to stand on their own with their own body of evidence. So, there really isn't a need to reference a prior qualified tool or a device. If your function is similar to a device, you would be able to do so if it's helpful to you, but certainly this is not necessary. So yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that information as well. And now we'll go to a question for Danielle Fau. What are the expected timeframes for payers to respond to an early payer feedback program request?
Thanks, Nora. Fantastic question. So the benefit of this program is how quickly communications can kick off. I've seen companies that have started communication with payer organizations as early as the same day the request was submitted, and other communications can take up to 6 months to establish and be introduced. Thank you.
Thanks so much. We have another question for you as well. Will participating in the early payer feedback program, or the EPFP, impact the FDA's review timelines?
Yeah, that's an important question. So actually, no, the program will not be device marketing submissions will continue to follow the medical device user fee amendments established review timelines. So participation in the EPFP program does not lengthen or shorten the applicable review clock. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. And we have a question coming in for Giselle Blanco once again. Where can I go if I want to understand the 510K process?
Thanks, Nora. So great question. The 510K is the most common pre-market submission CDRH receives, right? So there are tons of 510K resources within our device advice webpage. The main 510K webpage is titled Pre-Market Notification 510K. And this is a great place to start. And you could actually type that into your browser, Pre-Market Notification 510K, and make sure that the source that you click on is from an FDA.gov website. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Another question for you. How do I know if my device needs an IDE?
Okay, so for those who don't know, an IDE stands for Investigational Device Exemption. An approved IDE allows an investigational device to be used in a clinical study and in order to collect safety and efficacy data. So to determine if your device needs an IDE, you can start by visiting the device advice webpage called IDE Approval Process. Okay, that is IDE Approval Process. And you can even Google that too. And remember, just make sure it's an FDA.gov resource. Great question. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that response. And we have another question that came in for Dr. Jessica Mavadia-Shukla. Do tools need to be qualified to be used to support device submissions?
Thanks, Nora. Another great question. So the MDDT program and qualification is voluntary. And while tools don't need to be qualified in order to support device submissions, qualifying the tool can definitely improve predictability and efficiency in device development and regulatory review. Medical device sponsors can use the qualified tools and be sure that they'll be accepted by the FDA without the need to reconfirm the suitability and utility of the tool within the same context of use. So it certainly is helpful, but they do not need to be qualified to be used to support a device submission.
Right. Thank you so much for that information. Another question for you. Are digital health technologies reviewed differently through the MDDT program?
Great question. Thanks, Nora. So, digital health technologies that are used to support safety, effectiveness, or performance of medical devices can be submitted to the MDDT program for qualification through the same pathway as any other type of MDDT. If you do have questions about digital health technologies as MDDTs, we encourage you to contact the MDDT program through our email inbox at mddt@fda.hhs.gov. Thank you.
Thank you again for that response. We actually have another question that came in for Giselle Blanco. How long does the agency typically take to finalize a guidance document after receiving the comments via the Federal Register?
I see. Okay, so that's a tricky question, and the quickest answer is that it varies, especially by subject to subject. Sometimes the agency is waiting for specific information to complete that guidance, or sometimes it no longer, the guidance just no longer applies because new information has come in, or for one reason or another. So there is no set time point when a draft becomes finalized. Thanks.
Thanks for that information as well. Another guidance related question for you. Is there a guidance for pre-IND submission?
Great question. So if you mean pre-IND as an investigational new drug, I'm sure there are plenty of guidance documents that you can search on the guidance document database, and then it'd probably be better that you type out the whole term investigational new drug. And since that seems to be a CDER dominant thing, you might want to select the organization for CDER. However, if you meant IDE as an investigational device exemption, same applies. I would encourage you to look at that IDE approval process webpage that I mentioned earlier, as well as the guidance document database. Go ahead and type in investigational device exemption, and then since that one tends to be more specific towards CDRH, you'd want to select the filter for CDRH guidance documents. I hope that answered your question. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that response. And that looks like all the questions that we have time for and able to address in this session. Thank you again to our presenters for all the excellent information.